Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley. I'm an exercise physiologist, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to interview for a job. So I am a clinical exercise physiologist. If you're applying for an exercise job, if you have a bachelor's degree or master's degree in exercise science, health promotion, kinesiology, especially, this is going to be very helpful for you. In addition, if you're applying for any other type of job, this should be helpful for you as well. And this is just based on my experience over the years applying for so many different jobs, some that I got, some that I didn't. So let's get into it. All right, so for any job interview, you want to make sure that you arrive early, that you are presentable, that you look clean, that you're not wearing any aggressive perfumes or jewelry or nail polish. For most professional jobs, you want to make sure that you look professional and simple, and you want to wear things that are professional, such as slacks or a pencil skirt, something that is form-fitting, but also comfortable. You want to make sure that these professional clothing items are not restricting your movement in any way or restricting your breathing. So make sure you have things that fit you well, okay? You want to make sure that you're not showing too much skin. You want to be, careful to cover up any areas that may be distracting for the person interviewing you. And then you want to make sure that you have really good eye contact. So you can shift your body around if you need to, but make sure that you are able to maintain eye contact and with a good attitude. So you don't want to be staring into someone's soul. You don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. You want to just relax and be yourself. Okay, sometimes we'll put on a different face or act different than we normally would to get a job, but if we do that, it doesn't guarantee that we'll be happy at that job. So if you are yourself, even if you think that's not good enough right now, it's going to ensure that you at least know, okay, I like these people, I feel comfortable around them, I'm going to want to work with them. So I think it'll help more in the long run. So worst case scenario, you don't get the job, but at least you are able to be yourself and know what you want. I think something that really helped me at the beginning when I was looking for jobs is that I had to get into my head that I've gone to school, I have the education, and they would be honored, they should be honored to have me because I can be an asset to their team, and once I started believing in myself and believing in my skills that God gave me, I was able to more relax in the interviews and just be myself and kind of just accept the outcome, whatever it was. So the more you can just relax and be yourself, the better. Okay, so you want to seem interested. You want to definitely have active listening going on. So, don't always think about your next turn to talk. You want to be able to sit and listen actively. You don't have to respond to every single thing they're saying with yes and but you can nod your head, you can smile, and maintain that eye contact, okay? If you need to, you can bring some water with you to the interview. You shouldn't feel like you're going into an observation zone or you're being put on trial. Just take it easy, be comfortable with it. Just take sips of water if you need to. I know that when I first started interviewing, my armpits would sweat a lot. And so I would wear clothing that was comfortable for me where I wouldn't have like any sweat showing, which would also make me feel more nervous for the interview, but something that it was breathable and I felt comfortable in. Okay, so that goes back into the comfort of what you're wearing. Okay, you want to practice proper posture. So no one's posture is perfect, but you definitely don't want to be slouched over in the chair during the interview. This goes into the active listening. So you want to sit upright, and this will also help you breathe throughout the interview. So a lot of times when the person who's interviewing you is talking, we may tend to hold our breath because we're thinking about what we're going to say next. You definitely want to maintain proper breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, and you want to listen and then react. So before you answer their questions, you want to take a second or two, think about what they asked you, and then think about how you want to respond to it. So you may have like a pre-recorded or pre-programmed thing that you're going to say, but also you're in the moment. So one thing I'll definitely recommend for you to do is to not only have your resume organized, and you can, find different websites to help you do that, or maybe get someone to help you, but definitely write down what your strengths, weaknesses, the asset you would be to their team is. Write all that stuff down and write as much as you want, and just get all that stuff out of your head so that when you're in the moment, you're not going to just remember verbatim like what you wrote, but you're gonna kind of have some things to play off of that you can take into the interview based on how you feel in the interview and the type of people that you are meeting, their type of personalities. Okay, and again, it's not that we're persuading people to hire us. It's like we're figuring out whether or not we'd be happy there, and they're trying to figure out whether or not we would be a good fit for their team. So there's a lot going on, but again, if you are yourself, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, so you want to turn any of your weaknesses into a positive, and this doesn't necessarily mean lying. So they will ask you what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and what you feel that you can contribute to their team. They may ask other questions, but those are definitely questions they'll ask. You don't have to be so elaborate with what you say, and don't feel like you have to just talk. If you are concise and to the point of what you want to get across, really what they're looking for is most of the time employers are looking for trustworthy people that enjoy that type of work, or will enjoy that type of work. And so you're not expected to be perfect. You're not expected to know everything, especially if you're really young. This is a growth process. It's a learning process. If you are a trustworthy person and, you could be on time and you're willing to learn, that is definitely going to be an asset for you. So be yourself and don't pretend to be perfect. Just let them know how passionate you are about their business. And if you're not passionate about their business, I would definitely look into jobs that you are really interested in promoting that business, so that you can be happy where you're working and not be miserable. Okay, so sometimes we have to accept jobs that we're not so passionate about, but as long as we have good work ethic and we are looking towards the future of what is next, never get stuck. Kind of a side note, but try not to get stuck in any job thinking this is the last thing for you. If you love it, if you hate it, there's always opportunity on the horizon. So just do the best that you can at any job that you are at. Okay. So we talked about it being a learning and growth process. Even if you are older, even if maybe you switch careers, maybe you're doing something totally different now. It's going to be a growth process, and we're not expected to be perfect, but we are expected to be teachable and to take responsibility for our actions. Okay, so after the interview, you probably want to go over it, and you probably will go over it in your mind of how you did, what you said was right, or how you looked and all this kind of stuff. And that's totally normal and totally fine. But what I would recommend is that you write down the strengths and weaknesses of your interview. Write down what you liked about the interview, write down maybe the things that you could have done better, and try not to beat yourself up about it. It's kind of like a casting, like you're interviewing for this role, right? So write down what you could have done better in your mind, because sometimes I'll tell you, I've been in interviews where I think I did really bad, or maybe I thought that I shouldn't have said things a certain way, and those things were actually the things that made me look genuine, that made me appear like someone who they could trust. So go with your instincts, but don't put so much pressure on yourself. Okay. When I first got out of my undergraduate degree, I was excited and I thought that I was going to get my dream job in my field of exercise physiology. And I could not get a job because everywhere I went, they wanted me to have experience. So experience is earned and it takes time. So don't give up if it's not happening for you right away. What I did is I took internships I worked at several hospitals in their cardiac rehab, and I just got internships to put on my resume. I remember when I was applying for internships after my bachelor's, I looked at a couple different places, and at one university, I asked them, at one point I had a choice between two internships, one in a clinical setting and one in a university fitness center setting. And I asked that person what I should do, and she said, if I was looking to hire you, I would be looking for that clinical experience. So whenever you can get a clinical experience, you want to take advantage of that. It might sound cool or feel like it's awesome to like work in, your favorite sports team just at that university, maybe not with the sports team. That may be a little bit different, but try to gain that clinical experience when you are in the exercise physiology field, because that will give you a one-up over the next person who doesn't have that, and that's going to make us more credible overall. So you want to look into getting certifications. So this is where it kind of gets into the exercise physiology part of it. So you can look into getting your personal training certification, and then building upon that with ACE, with NASM, with the American College of Sports Medicine, and many others. I think there's a strength and conditioning one as well that is highly regarded. I think it's the CSCS. You can look into that. The ones that I have are the Clinical Exercise Physiologist certification with the American College of Sports Medicine. I have personal training and corrective exercise specialist certifications with NASM, that's the National Academy of Sports Medicine. So really those three, ACE, NASM, and ACSM, they're going to be highly regarded in the exercise science field. Okay, so when you're looking for a job, you can start with the PT, personal training, and then build from there. A lot of times when you get the job, they may or may not sponsor you or pay for additional certifications. So, you may want to ask your employer about that if you're looking to expand your toolbox in ways that you can train and help people. Okay, and just go from there. And as far as your CPR, BLS, basic life support, and ACLS, advanced cardiac life support, a lot of jobs in the exercise science realm will ask for these. If you have a personal training certification, or if you don't, you can just be honest with them and tell them that you will get it. And a lot of times they allow you 3 months upon hire to get these certifications, and even better, sometimes they will pay for it. So definitely ask. I feel like definitely is my favorite word today. Anyways, I feel like I say that so much after hearing that kid. I think he was on Ellen, and he said definitely a lot, and he was so cute, and that got in my head. But anyways, you want to make sure that you do have some sort of certifications, because I will tell you, once I got just a couple years of experience and a few certifications, I was reached out to by quite a few jobs, and I had a lot more opportunities there. Okay. Another thing I'll mention is you want to always have opportunities ahead of you to look towards. So if the job you're at is somewhere where you feel stuck and you're not growing and there's nowhere to really look towards, I would challenge you to try to branch out and maybe try something else within your field. With exercise physiology, we have so many things to choose from: cardiac rehab, athletic training, senior fitness. You can work in nursing homes, you can work in hospital setting, and inpatient, helping people right after surgery. So really look into the different avenues of exercise physiology, and I would recommend that you try to dip your toes into each and every one of them to kind of make you well-rounded. I think that would be a really, really good idea. Okay, and so then once you have a job, you should try to keep that job, especially after your degree, for at least a year's time. Keep that job so that you can put it on your resume, and it shows that you were able to continue working and you were committed to the job that you were doing. Okay, you're not in prison with your job. You should somewhat enjoy what you're doing. You shouldn't dread going to work every day. And if you are, don't panic, just look for other jobs. And interviewing can be annoying, and it can be a little anxiety inducing, and just frustrating in general. But, sometimes if we put ourselves through that just for a time, we can find a job that's even better and, have a better situation in life if we're not happy with where we're at currently. Okay. So I think just the keys from this, the takeaways, is going to be professionalism, have a simple and professional look when you go into an interview, and professionalism in how you speak, your posture. Okay, so we got that: professional, simple, and just be real. Be real with who you are in the interview and try to be as relaxed as possible, and tell yourself that it's not as a big of a deal as you're making it out to be. And the more, it's really true, people told me all the time when I first started interviewing that it would get easier and easier, and it really is true. The more you interview, the easier it's going to get. Okay. So if you have any questions about where to get a job in exercise science and health promotion, kinesiology, etc., you can reach out to me if you are looking for a job in your field. I do have some connections, and I may be able to point you in the right direction. If you have any questions about what certifications to get or any of the steps within the process of getting those certifications, you can also let me know, and I should be able to help you with that. And then if you need any encouragement in general, please let me know, because looking for a job and that process is frustrating for everyone. And I'll just say, don't give up. Just keep interviewing, keep trying different jobs. And I will mention one more story. I was working at Whole Foods Market before I got into my field. I had gotten my bachelor's degree, and I would apply for jobs and no one would hire me. So I used to travel to North Carolina all the time, and I went on one trip to their cardiac rehab. This was before I graduated, actually, and I just wanted to speak with the director there, and I introduced myself, and he walked me around and showed me everything. So I built that connection. I told him I was going to graduate soon, and that I would love to work there and everything. So fast forward, I'm working at Whole Foods. I'm not able to get a job in my field where I currently live. So I reach out to this director and I let him know that I'm interested. There was a job available, and it was just preparation meets opportunity. I was lucky enough to get the position. And so I had to move to North Carolina. It was an amazing experience. I got to live in the mountains, so many wonderful stories there. But I got the experience that I needed in order to come back to Florida and be more desirable in my field here. So networking is a big deal, getting to know people, even if you're not going to get a job right away, letting them know who you are and what you stand for, and how passionate you are, especially in exercise physiology, about helping people and about, fitness in general, and if that's something that is your life and your lifestyle, it's going to be easy for you to just share that with people. And you just have to be kind of in the right place to be able to feel like it really fits and really makes sense. And that may change over time. That may change. That's why it's good to have experience in a lot of different areas. Okay. So, you may have to go out of your comfort zone. I had to move. I'm not saying you'll have to move, but you may have to just take an opportunity somewhere to gain that experience, and then just see where your journey takes you. It may not be exactly what you thought it was going to be or what somebody else's journey looks like, but if you are true to yourself and you conquer those fears of maybe doing something you wouldn't have normally done within looking for a job, you may be surprised at how much you grow through those experiences. So there's no cookie cutter way of getting a job. Just make sure that you are happy with what you're doing, or at least feel like it is, you are thriving in your occupation. If not, look for jobs, see what else is out there, because you never know. Life can get so much better once you are satisfied with what your occupation is. All right, so there's so much more to talk about in this field, or this area of life, the thing that we do every day, the place that we go to every day, and getting the job, keeping the job, and so on and so forth. But today was just a little bit on how to get a job, and to conquer that initial interview. So if you like this video, please like it. You can share, subscribe to my channel. If you want to donate to my channel, I have links down below where you can do that. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.